Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Cami, are we waiting on anyone else for right now?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
We got everybody here. Hold on just a minute. Let me get my recording devices up.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
All right. I think we're ready, guys.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Patrick Ortiz. I'll be chairing the May meeting for the Mineland Reclamation Board. And it's going to be held virtually this month. Thank you all for attending this morning. First up, I would like to see a motion for approving the April 2023 meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Those opposed? Seeing none. Motion passes. Thank you all. And looks like we did not have any continuances or withdrawals for this month.
Patrick, we actually got a late request for a continuance from Batula Construction. I think that came in. Cami, was that yesterday?
Yeah, I think I sent it to you guys yesterday afternoon.
Oh yeah, got it. Thank you. And it looks like really just needing a little more time for negotiating settlement with the division. Is there any update from the division on that? Is that still correct?
Yes, this is Scott Schultz, counsel for the division in this matter. We received some pretty important and substantial new information on Friday regarding this operator and this permit. We are still in the process of trying to settle this matter. There's no guarantees of that. We have given the operator's counsel a deadline to reach a settlement agreement in this matter, or we will go to hearing. But given the information that we were provided on Friday, again, new, important, substantial information regarding this operator and permit, we're not objecting to Batula's requested continuance. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have regarding this matter. Again, we are in ongoing settlement negotiations, and I can only guess as to what the final outcome will be, whether it will be a settlement agreement or whether we will be going to hearing in this matter.
Great, thank you, Scott. Any questions from the board on this matter or for the division? Seeing none, can I get a motion to continue this to next month?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Mock and a second from Mr. Singletary. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seeing none. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, our third item, Mr. Mock, do you have an update for us from the Executive Director's Office?
You bet. Thanks, Mr. Chair. Good morning, board members. Tim Mock, Deputy Director for the Department of Natural Resources. Start with a couple of staffing updates here. The Executive Director for Colorado Parks and Wildlife began his service in the new role May 1st for Parks and Wildlife. He had been with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife since 2000 and has served as an area habitat biologist, a forest and fish section manager, and deputy assistant director and the assistant director for Washington's habitat program. We're excited to have Mr. Davis on board. Next up, our tribal liaison position, you've heard me talk about. We are in the process of extending an offer this morning, so I'll probably have more of an update next month. Alice Horgan, our acting assistant director for Parks, Wildlife, and Lands, has moved back east to be closer to her family and is no longer with us. So with that, we are in the process of hiring a new assistant director for Parks, Wildlife, and Lands, and expect that position to begin mid-June or early July. We also have a new position, associate director of policy and ledge affairs with the Colorado State Forest Service. It's a partnership in collaboration with DNR in which this individual will be stationed here at the Department of Natural Resources at our 1313 Sherman offices, assisting with policy and ledge affairs. And then he'll spend additional time working with the State Forest Services member of their leadership team. The Colorado Water Conservation Board, they're holding a drought summit May 31st to June 1st at History, Colorado. We've had a great response. The registration is now full and currently there's a wait list. Colorado River updates. At a public meeting on April 17th, the Upper Colorado River Commission commissioners voted to advance a slate of system conservation pilot program proposals based on recommendations from staff who had reviewed the proposals pursuant to the selection criteria. These will propose changes in operations at Glen Canyon and Hoover Dam. Staff is continuing to review the 500-page document, and comments are due to reclamation by May 30th. The daily flood threat bulletin forecasting service now resumes as of May 1st. It's a product that provides daily estimate of flood threats throughout the state, the description of precipitation received the prior day, and any threats of post-wildfire flooding in the state, and a twice weekly medium range outlook. You can visit that site at coloradofloodthreat.com. Next up, State Forest Service. Matt McCombs, our director there, joined leadership from other wildfire agencies to provide a briefing to Governor Polis recently on the upcoming fire season. Forecast for Colorado appears to be moderate. And that means that a normal fire potential is expected across the state May through July. Typically, there's an elevated fire risk at the lower elevations in the front range foothills, east of the foothills in the San Luis Valley, and in the southeastern part of the state because of long-term persistent drought in overgrown fuels. An average year, we have roughly 5,500 wildfires burning 220,000 acres across the state. The southeastern part of Colorado faces the highest wildfire risk this year, according to Division Fire Prevention and Control Director Mike Morgan. And then during that same briefing, Governor Polis announced the launch of a new wildfire-ready public outreach campaign to empower residents, especially those who live within the wildland-urban interface, to know the risk of that wildfire poses to them and what they can do to mitigate the risk to their life, homes, and property. The Live Wildfire Ready is directed and generously funded by the state of Colorado through Senate Bill Senate Bill 7. It has been developed by CSFS, Division of Fire Prevention and Control, and the U.S. Forest Service. The campaign officially launched on May 1st during Wildfire Awareness Month. And then Secretary Vilsack was recently in town and announced $47 million for the Rocky Mountain region for fuels reduction work to implement fuel breaks on boundaries, potential operational delineations as part of a wildfire crisis strategy implementation. Of that, we're going to get here about 34 million of that in Colorado, specifically for the Grand Mesa, Uncombadre, and Gunnison National Forests, at a tune of about $20 million, funding 47 projects and 236,000 acres. And then also 13 million would go to the San Juan National Forest for about 150,000 acres. And then finally, Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission, I think everybody's aware of this by now, approved the historic final wolf restoration management plan for the state of Colorado per Proposition 114. Since releasing the draft, we had 4,000 comments and online and in-person testimony from 232 people around the state. I can go into details there if we'd like. We did make some improvements along the way of that bill. The commission supported revising the draft plan to raise the cap on livestock compensation, as well as guard and herding animals to $15,000 per animal, and supported other such things. And then the legislature has concluded its work as of last Monday. Governor Polis, a few weeks before that, signed the long bill into law and setting our budget here at DNR for the coming fiscal year. We did very well in our budget requests, in which all but 2 of our requests were approved, receiving a FTE for a total addition of 80. I'm sorry, we received 88 full-time employees across the agency, as well as $3.1 million more in the department request for the co-swap program, $12.6 million for the water plant grant funding from severance tax, and $115 million capital budget for parks and wildlife. It also includes a 5% well-deserved increase in state employees' salaries and 4 full-time FTEs for CWCB, and created a Colorado River Commissioner position here in DNR. And so we'll be establishing an interdisciplinary team of experts focused on the Colorado River system, including full-time Upper Colorado River Commissioner to meet Colorado's interstate water obligations while advancing our position on the Colorado River. And that would then conclude my report. If there's any other questions, I can go into further detail on bills, or if any of the board members would like, I can pass this along to be sent out to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director Mock. Those are some great updates. Lots going on. Any questions for Mr. Mock at this time?
Put everybody to sleep.
And Director Braden, go ahead and give your update as well. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ginny Brannon, Director. Good morning, everyone. And so we're a little disappointed that the New Elk has a coal mine outside of Trinidad has laid off over 100 people, and they're operating with a skeleton maintenance crew at the moment, and they're trying to find a seller for the mine. As a reminder, that is met coal. It is high octane, and it is used for ore smelting. It's far more valuable than any coal that would be used to heat the grid. And that's kind of a blow for that community. So Denver can take a loss of 100 jobs, but Trinidad's a little different story. And so we're disappointed in that, and hopeful that they can find a new buyer. And that's really all I have, unless somebody has any questions.
Thank you, Division Director Ginny. Any other questions at this point? All right, I think that'll just take us into our next item. Looks like we're looking at reconsiderations of the board action to approve SSG Mining's application file number M-2020-057. I guess that's now up to the division to provide us a presentation.
Okay.
And yeah, go right ahead. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Peter Hayes. I'm representing the Division of Reclamation, Mining, and Safety. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so this hearing is for SSG Mining LLC, Lombard number 3 site, file number M 2020-057. Hearing is for reconsideration of the division's approval of the permit application where the required performance and financial warranties were not executed within 1 calendar year of the approval of the application in accordance with Rule 4.1, Parent 2. The application is a 110-1 Hard Rock Limited Impact application. The applicant, again, is SSG Mining LLC. Proposed permanent area is 0.92 acres. The primary commodities to be mined would be gold and silver. It is a proposed underground mine located in Clear Creek County. The required financial warranty amount is $14,000. On October 26th, 2021, the division approved the Lombard number 3 application. Pursuant to CRS 3432-117 parent 1, a permit cannot be issued until the performance and financial warranties are received by the board. Rule 4.1 parent 2 provides a period of 1 calendar year in which to submit the performance and financial warranties. If these are not received, the board shall hold a hearing to reconsider the approval and, if affirmed, establish a new deadline for the submittal of the warranties. And that is why we're here today. On July 26th, 2020, the performance warranty and financial warranty check were submitted by SSG Mining LLC. On July 28th, 2022, the division notified the applicant of the outstanding bonding requirements for the application. On August 15th, 2020, an updated performance warranty was submitted by the applicant. On September 6th, 2020, the division notified the applicant a second time of the outstanding bonding requirements for the application. So the required bonding items that are missing are that the applicant must submit a performance warranty listing. They submitted a performance warranty listing SSG Mining. However, according to the Secretary of State, the registered name is SSG Mining LLC. The applicant is required to provide an affidavit of authority signed by a representative of SSG Mining LLC. And the financial warranty check in the amount of $14,000 requires a check of deposit in state treasury on BLM land form. So the applicant did submit some of the paperwork, just did not complete all the required forms required for the financial and performance warranties. On October 26, 2020, the performance and financial warranties were due. On December 18th, 2020, the division notified SSG Mining LLC of the required reconsideration of the Lombard number 3 application and the need to initiate the notice and comment provisions of Rule 1.6. Those requirements are the applicant shall place a copy of the application, all required exhibits and active responses with the county clerk recorder, provide notice of the application on a form approved by the board, must be sent to the local board of county commissioners and the board of supervisors of the Soil Conservation District. The applicant shall post notices at the mine site and publish a public notice in a newspaper of general circulation in the locality of the proposed mining operation. That public notice shall be published once. Immediately after the publication, a copy of the notice shall be sent to all owners of record of the surface and mineral rights of the affected lands and the owners of record of all land surfaces within 200 feet of the boundary of the affected land. In this case, the landowner and the surrounding landowner is the U.S. Forest Service. In addition to the formal notice, the division did contact the representative for SSG Mining by email and phone to discuss this matter. On March 27th, 2023, the division notified SSG Mining LLC of this board hearing for reconsideration of the approved application. SSG Mining has not provided evidence the required notification and comment provisions of Rule 1.6 were completed in accordance with Rule 4.1 Parent 2 prior to this hearing. SSG Mining has not addressed the outstanding advocacy issues of the performance and financial warranties, though ample time was given by the division. It's been almost a year and a half to this point. On April 7th, 2023, the division notified the Clear Creek County Commissioners and the U.S. Forest Service of the reconsideration of the application. No comments from either entity were received by the division. For this matter, the staff recommends a denial of the Lombard 3 application, file number M2020-057, for failure to submit acceptable performance and financial warranties in accordance with Rule 4.1 Parent 2 and CRS 34-32-117 Parent 1, and for failure to initiate the public notice and comment provisions of Rule 1.6 prior to the hearing for reconsideration of the application approval pursuant to Rule 4.1 Parent 2. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions from the board. And the applicant was notified of the hearing. I'm not sure if he is present today. I'm informed he is not.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Any questions for the division from the board at this time?
One question, Mr. Hayes, is I'm assuming it sounds like no mining has taken place.
No mining has taken place. My conversations with the applicant is he has several sites and his focus was other places. But yes, no mining has occurred at this site.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the board? Hearing none, could we get a motion?
Mr. Chair, if you'd like, I would move that the board deny the Lombard 3 application file number M-2020-057 for failure to submit acceptable performance and financial warranties in accordance with Rule 4.1 Parent 2 and CRS 34-32-117 Parent 1, and for failure to initiate the public notice and comment provision of Rule 1.6 prior to the hearing for reconsideration of the application approval pursuant to Rule 4.1 Parent 2.
Second.
I see the motion from Mr. Mock and a second from Mr. Singletary. Those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, division, for that update and that appreciate your work on that. Hopefully they can come back with an application that is fully complete. And too bad they did not show up today.
Yeah, there's still the opportunity to refile.
Yeah, great. Just a procedural snafu on my part. I was a little excited for chairing this meeting today for the first time, but can we just do a quick roll call? Ms. Nelson?
Present.
Mr. Singletary?
Here.
Mr. Mock?
Present.
Mr. Redmond?
Present.
Thank you all. And next up,
Mr. Ortiz,
yeah,
Ms. Wareham's here as
and
well.
Ms. Wareham. My apologies.
No problem.
Thank you all. Yeah, just one of those things. I was excited to get going. Next up, we will get an update from the division on The Schwartzwalds are mine, I believe, Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Means.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Russ Means for the division. We will, at the end of this update and stuff, that request a continuance of the enforcement matter that's on the agenda. It's kind of a placeholder, probably for the next couple of months and stuff while we monitor the situation. So at the end here and stuff and that, remind me and stuff and that to make that request. So the division has good news. All aspects of the MOU were met as of 2 p.m. yesterday. The division had supplied you with draft copies of the MOU and other documents and everything that we had there. Well, all those documents were finalized. So in that the final step, if you will, in that MOU was executed yesterday, like I said, around 2 o'clock. Funds were released from Hanover Insurance to CLL. CLL in turn immediately issued a notice to proceed to Insero, who is the contractor for the water treatment plant. Conversations and stuff with Insero, dewinterization should commence quickly, and treatment should be started in time to avoid any water quality issues. So we dodged a bullet there. And that, so the division's next step will be looking at long-term solutions and stuff to this site, and it's Mr. Fugate and my top priority and stuff over the summer and stuff to try to figure out what our best next steps are and stuff and that for the board and the division. Also, because this happened so late yesterday, we didn't have a chance and stuff to reach out to some of our stakeholders such as Denver and Arvada Water. And we'll be reaching out to them and giving them an update and stuff after the meeting today. So, and I think it's important to note that last month we talked about it, but staff has elevated the inspection frequency on this site for the entire summer so that we can monitor progress and ensure that the work and stuff is being done. And also seeing how the processes and stuff are involved in that, so that if we have to look at long-term contracts and stuff, and that we can make sure that all aspects and stuff of that are covered. So with that, unless there's any questions, the division would request the stuff to continue until the enforcement matter until June and that, but that's our report. So if there's any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Means. Any questions for the division at this time from the board?
We need a motion to continue this then?
It would be best, please.
And this will just be for the June meeting?
Yes, what we'll do is the staff will be monitoring it, and like I said, it's just a placeholder in case for any reason something goes south, we could act quickly. We don't have to renotice or anything like that. So it's just the board will probably see this over the summer and stuff like that, but we don't want to get too far out over our skis.
Great, thank you for that clarification. Can I get a motion?
I move that the board continue the enforcement hearing for file number M-1977-300 to our next board meeting.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Mock and a second from Ms. Wareham. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes, and we look forward to hearing further updates, and hopefully nothing else comes up on that matter. I know that it is timely to get something going more permanently there, but this quicker action is a good start. So thank you, division, for your work on it. Next up, it looks like we just have some discussion items, an education item from division.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Michael Cunningham, representing the division. And yeah, we just wanted to take a few minutes this morning and follow up on a discussion that we started back in February. If the board recalls, we had presented an idea for incorporating a QR code into our public notice signs that get posted around a mine site. This was in an effort to try to get information into the hands of the public as quickly as possible. And so that was a really good meeting. We had some good feedback from the board, and we just wanted to follow up and let you know where we're at on that particular project. So let me share my screen here. Actually, before I do that, I was hoping to have Susan Bergmeyer here. She's tied up in a meeting. Susan is our business process technical specialist. And anytime we talk about updates to the website or revisions along those lines, really what we're saying is that's some valuable work that Susan has done for us. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Susan, who is helping us out along the way here. Can everybody see my screen, which should be the website here?
Yes.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I first wanted to address a comment that we had received from you last time. This was a general comment about the website, and it was whether or not we can display our webpage in Spanish. The answer at the time was no, but that is a functionality that we've added since then, and that is available on all of our web pages. If you go to the bottom, you have an option to select any number of different languages. So this is part of the department's efforts at accessibility across our websites and all of our materials that we present to the public. So we're happy to incorporate this into our website. There's some more work that needs to be done on accessibility, but that's something that Susan will continue to work on throughout this year, namely to ensure that all of the documents that we have on our website can also be viewed in other languages. So just wanted to point that out. Let me go back to.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, for that update on that.
Go back to English since I'm not so proficient in Spanish. There we go. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to show the board is the web page that we had focused on before, where the public can go, and it's sort of the beginning point of learning about a new operation or an amendment to an existing operation. We have revamped this a little bit. We call this section of our website the Mining Activity Dashboard. And unfortunately, I don't have the old web page that I can show you. I would have liked to have done some compare and contrast. But what we did is we really streamlined and simplified this web page. I think one of the issues, and one of the comments we heard from the board before was, I think we just had tried to pack too much information on this web page. We had a lot of links to various sections, and I think it just made it quite busy. So we've got far fewer buttons, far fewer options. If you come to the Mining Activity Dashboard, really you can look into two different sections: applications for new mining operations or applications for revisions to existing mining operations. From here, you're going to get a list. We have also revised this. I am not Peter Hayes, so that is giving me, unfortunately, I may not be able to show you this spreadsheet, but what we did is the old spreadsheet really came out of our permit system, and it contained a lot of codes which were probably meaningless to the public. We stripped all of that out of there. It starts with a list of the counties, a general description of the location, and then a plain language description of what that new application or amendment is for. From there, you can link to all of the pertinent documents in our Laserfiche system. And so we think this is an improvement over what we had before. Certainly we're not done. We're always looking for ways to improve this. There was some additional comments, I think, from the board about potentially incorporating GIS features or mapping features. That's something that we're looking at. That there's a little bit more complexity involved with setting that up. But we're looking at our options, and we're also looking to our sister agencies to see what sort of successes they've had on their websites and utilizing maps and GIS, And we hope to incorporate that in time. And the last part of this project is going to be revising our application forms and creating the QR code insert that our applicants can use on their public notice signs. And so we're on track to roll that out here this summer. That should probably be done by the end of this month. Next month, we'll be able to roll that out. So just wanted to give the board a quick update on that. And I'm happy to answer any questions or take any feedback from the board at this time.
Go ahead, Jill. So is this, I mean, I was just searching it at the same time you were going along too, and I hit that same Google Sheets thing. Is that just because this isn't totally live yet, or will that be something that you truly do request access for?
No. That is simply because we were making some last minute edits this morning, and I think I need to speak with Susan. We'll get that fixed, so that way when the public clicks on that link, you just go straight to the spreadsheet.
Yeah, looks great.
So I have just one quick comment. It really looks great. I mean, I can appreciate, because we do this sort of stuff, how much effort, and it's much improved. I don't know exactly what the laserfiche information is. So that button doesn't have a lot of meaning. It probably won't for even the general public, because I'm on the board. Can you tell me a little bit like what's stored in there so I know? And then also maybe there would be a title with the laserfiche as a parens after it, so everybody knows, or so. I just don't know what's in there.
Absolutely. Let me do this. I'm going to share my screen again. Let me go back to this web page. So we do have this section on the bottom. I just want to draw your attention to. We have a user guide. Admittedly, it's a bit lengthy, but it does break down exactly what Laserfiche is. So Laserfiche, in its simplest, is an online document repository. So whenever we get a new application for a mine site, we create a file number for that. That file number allows you to look up every document associated with that mine from the moment that application is submitted all the way through the life of mine until final release. In there, you can find copies of inspection reports, annual reports submitted by the operator, enforcement actions taken by the division, monitoring data, anything and everything that's associated with this is there. There are a few documents that we have to redact due to personally identifiable information, but for the large part, everything that's in a file is available for viewing by the public. It's quite a powerful search engine. It does take a little bit of playing around with to get proficient at it, but you can search on keywords, you can search by date ranges, you can order it chronologically or reverse chronologically. So there's quite a bit of functionality there, and it's quite common, Mr. Redmond. We do field calls from the public quite often. We know that it can be burdensome to try to navigate through these files, so we always try to help folks out where we can. If there's a particular piece of information they're looking for, we'll do our best to pull that out of the file for them, just to shortcut that process.
Sure. So my only suggestion is, so it's a document management system. And so maybe you'd say the division document management system link or something. Laserfiche doesn't mean a lot to most folks.
No, I appreciate that.
I understand the scanning mechanism or whatever, but maybe just as a suggestion that people would know that button takes you to the entirety of the document management system of the division. I mean, it's really superb, excellent. It's a colloquial term that everybody in the division has been using probably since they got the system. Just out of curiosity, how long has that, does it go all the way back for the history? Did you scan all the previous records, or is it from a certain date on?
It does. We had a large lift in about 2000 where we took all of those documents, all of the paper documents, and scanned them. And from that point forward, everything that comes in gets scanned. But I do appreciate that comment. You're right. We use it daily and tend to forget that folks don't know. So part of what we were doing on this webpage as well was just stripping out a lot of the technical nomenclature that we use that really doesn't have much meaning for the public. So we can make that change. That's quite simple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody else agrees or not, but if you just said division data management or document management system, everybody would know that that's where all the documents are if you want to find them.
Absolutely.
well, this is Russ Means and stuff, and the Laserfish system and stuff, that is actually our official public file. So sometimes the stuff when we get Cora requests that are pretty simple, we can actually with consultants or other groups and stuff and that, we send them to this system and stuff and that so that they have immediate access and stuff to the entire file for a particular site or and that, and then we work with them. Like Michael said, we field calls and stuff on that. So certainly I think we can rename that to something maybe a little bit more common and stuff, like you said, there are some kind of management system or public file or something, but we'll work on that along with some other things and stuff. That's an easy fix. So in that, but we're that's a great suggestion. So, and Michael's correct. Yeah, about 2001 is when we switched over from paper files and stuff. We had a monumental task and stuff of taking some 3,000 files and stuff and getting them into the permit system. And then from that day forward, so most of our documents and stuff, the decision, just so you know, a little background and stuff, the decision was made and stuff, any file permits and stuff that were active and stuff for the last 5 years prior to that, in like the mid 1990s, all of that is in the system and that and available to the public. Before that, some of that went to archives and so if we get requests for really old permits and stuff, some of that stuff is down in archives and it's still available, but it goes through a different process and stuff than ours. So, but it's probably way too much more information than what you wanted. So
No, that's really good. I just so everybody, sorry, I'm still sort of new anyway. Yeah, but I would commend everybody that the website looks better, and I think we're on the right track to making it easy to find stuff.
Yeah, and this is Jenny. I just wanted to echo Mr. Redmond's statement. When we tell people to go look on Laserfish, they think we want them to take a portal back to the 1970s and sometimes figure out how to use some antiquated system that they don't understand. And it drives the public crazy. So I appreciate that comment. Thank you.
Any additional questions from the board? If not, we might try to come back at the, later this year in the summer, fall, and give a final update on how the QR code implementation is going.
Mr. Cunningham, Tim Mock here. I just wanted to comment, how clean this dashboard here looks, and really appreciate the work. If you wouldn't mind passing that along. So I think this is exciting once we get all the links. And then obviously, I think we're certainly interested to understand more about the QR code. So again, kudos to the team for pulling this together. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. Back to where we talk about, kind of this nebulous idea that mining is somehow phasing out in some respects, but there is a transition plan to more renewable energy, things like this, but mining is still going to be a necessary industry. So I think, as far as public information, being transparent like this, giving it a simple platform, that definitely helps just you all, to explain if you have questions. This is how the process works. And I think, like you said, you know what is confidential and what you can share or not. So I think it's a great example of being innovative in government regulation and, an example for a lot of organizations to function in that way, especially that are so public facing and working with individual businesses. So yeah, great to hear that update.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to add, if it wasn't there before, that MLRB live stream front and center on the homepage, as somebody who routinely bumps around to listen to our various boards and commissions, I really appreciate that function. I think that really provides greater accessibility to the public than having to kind of search for that link going through the agenda and all of that stuff. So having that direct link there, I think, is a brilliant idea. And I hope I'm going to be recommending that across our department.
Thank you, Mr. Mock. And do we have any public comment today?
We do not.
Okay. And Mr. Kuhlman, no need for executive session, or do we?
Yeah, I think we can have a brief one. Give
Okay.
you guys an update on some of the judicial review cases that have been going on.
Okay.
There should be an updated motion at the end of the packet.
Can we have a board member make that motion, please?
I make a motion that this meeting moves into executive session.
Second.
Hang on. Unfortunately, with executive session, we've got to
Do the
kind of
whole,
have to nail down the language from the motion. Sorry.
all
Yeah.
right, we get into it here. All right, I move that the board entered into executive session for the purpose of discussing with counsel disputes that are subject of pending or imminent court action, discussing specific claims and grievances, and receiving legal advice on specific legal questions, and discussing matters required to be kept confidential pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute Section 24-6-402, parent 3, parent A, parent 2, including judicial reviews. 2021 CA 1021, 2022 CA 32904 and 2022 CV 620.
Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Wareham. Everyone, go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes to enter executive session. We'll just wait for recording to stop. Is that right, Cammie?
Yeah, give me just a minute.